Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Here are the components for the Pursuit of Happiness community. This is the Kickstarter version, so you'll see some Kickstarter only. Now, the artwork in this is just fantastic. I love the way it looks like life and the cartoons that they use. Really, really striking. You're going to get a rule book, which we'll take a look at in just a few seconds. So what are you going to get in here? You're going to get an empty baggie. You are going to get some cards here. And what these cards are going to show you is just some of the rules that will be on the outset and kind of how it works. And you're going to get some new traits, some new life goals. We'll take a look at these, some new characters to be, some new jobs, some additional items, projects, and then the community cards, which is what you're here to see. But let's take a look at some of these. The quality of these, they're a little bit thin, but they're actually really good. They seem like they match the base game fairly well. So you're going to get a whole big stack of these. These are the Kickstarter exclusive cards that came with it. We'll put those aside. You're going to get some black cubes. These are just regular cubies that you'll use. You're going to get this new board that will be involved. This community board. And this is going to be where you place cards. It's a little popularity track that you'll be utilizing. And then you're going to get enough stuff in here to play with a fifth player. And he will be gray. And you'll get new cubes. Now, the community people you'll be utilizing are just these little meeple guys in each of your colors. And then the new guys are gray. So you'll be able to play 5 players. Now, everything is great quality. I had no problems with it whatsoever. First of all, when it comes to rules, you will have these cards that will be player aids for the gray player. And then everybody will get a new player aid for their color with the new community rules on it, which I find very, very good. The rule book here is going to be, let's zoom in on it. It's going to show you all the components with pictures of what you get, which is fantastic. And you're going to get the additional setup, which is fairly simple right over here. Just a one little board and what you're doing with those cards. You'll see a breakdown of the community cards here and with icons and how they're utilized. And then the rules of this are fairly simple. Here's how you'll engage. And you'll see there's plenty of pictures here. And this is a big, long example right here. This whole thing on this whole page is pretty much an example of the outcome. It'll show you how to utilize the popularity track. Once again, a sizable example coming right in here. And then additional cards that you'll have, the components, and the solo rules that will be right here. And then you're having FAQ about some of the cards and how they're going to interact with things in the base game. So excellent. Really like this book a lot. For an expansion book, this is really, really good. So what you're going to get here is some additional cards. So you're going to have some child traits. You're going to have likable and helpful. When entering the first audit round, you gain one of these popularities. So these will just be utilizing some of their new stuff. You're going to get a couple of new goals. Live for the moment and in the spotlight. Once again, utilizing some of the new community cards. You're going to get Richard and Rachel from Friends, if you remember her. You're going to get, you're going to get Lance here, and Lana, and Tom will be a minority with Tammy. So those are what you get there. So some new occupations that you're going to see. Let's spread this out a little bit. You're going to get a judge or a banker, studio manager, or an orchestra conductor, an IT manager. It'll be really popular. Chief of medicine. You can be a TV host, or a lawyer, a composer, or an animator, an archaeologist, or stockbroker, interior designer, or a makeup artist, a librarian, or a nurse. And a lot of these are going to start bringing in the new concepts that you're going to see in the game. They're going to have a bunch of items that we'll have. So you can get a drone now, an RV, a movie collection, a 3D printer. That's really great. Watch, cinema, a theme park, an arcade, car exhibitor, or a basketball match. These are all items you can get. Give you a little more variety. And some projects you can go after. Cycling, parkour. That's really fun. Sculpting, landscaping, traveling. The drone racing team. Now, these are going to be multiple people can go on these. So the drone racing team, homeless shelter. And then you have the one off the domino show and the election campaign. So those will be new projects that you can have in the game. Now, this handful of components are going to be for the extra player. You can now play 5. No extra rule changes needed to play 5. You'll just have this, and you'll be able to go forward playing it. You have all this stuff that you need, no additional rules. Now, to play with the community, you're going to put this board out, which will allow you to have 5 cards out. What's really important is this popularity track going over there. Each player will have a cube that they will place down on the popularity of their color, and starting out on 0, and each person will get a community marker that they will be able to utilize on this card track as it goes. So when you play the game, you're going to be putting these community cards out, and they're going to work quite similar to what you're going to get in the base game. of most of the stuff, except for you'll be using these trackers in order to put them when you're utilizing it. So what you'll do when you do this is when you place on your worker, you will engage. So you will pay this to gain what's over here, and you'll be utilizing this popularity track. Now you can still use hourglasses on this side, but your number of hourglasses you use in a round can never exceed your popularity. So as you're accomplishing some of these things, your popularity will be going up. You can see it goes all the way up to 5. If you ever get more than 5 and you get another popularity, then you would just reach 1 additional long-term happiness. So you can still use these, but it cannot exceed the number of popularity, which is the number at the bottom. So at the end of the round, then you'll decide what you want to do. So what you would do is pick one of these. So if you just want a pair of slippers, you would just get a green smiley. If you wanted to give up a red book, 2 orange, and 2 yellow, then you would get all this stuff. And you would choose this at the end of the round in the new player order. That's really important. Now, some of these will allow more than one person to come on it, which will be utilized by the multiplayer up there. Otherwise, these will work the same. Now, the popularity is pretty important. At the end of each round, you will gain the number of long-term happiness at the bottom, and then you'll always go back 1 to the left. So your happiness will be coming down, but you'll be gaining that long-term happiness as you approach. So community adds quite a bit to this, and this is kind of how it works, but it's nothing too new that you haven't seen before. The Pursuit of Happiness now has an expansion called Community, and this is going to bring the ideology that working with other people in the community and interacting with them is going to lead to your popularity and thus your long-term happiness. So in this game, you're going to get a new track, which will keep track of your popularity. And you're going to increase through this by a few things like trades, but mainly through the idea of using these community cards, which sometimes can be communal, but it's going to be a new little mechanism. And what you're going to do is you're going to engage with it. So you're going to have this new marker that you're going to be able to utilize in the space, and usually you'll pay something, but not always, and you'll gain something. Then at the end of the round, you can kind of choose how you'd like to express yourself through the community, I guess, giving up stuff to gain better things in that regard, and then the card will be discarded. So and that will increase your popularity, thus increasing your long-term happiness at the end of the round 1 space, and your popularity pulls back. So it's a very neat little thing that can be added to it. Very simple and gives you an extra option. Liked it quite a bit. And I think I would include this in because people understand that immediately. The idea of becoming more popular in whatever thing you are. You might say, hey, we're board gamers, we're not that popular. When we go to a bar, if it's us or tough guy, sports guy, or et cetera, model guy, they might be more popular than us. But within our little niche here, you can be more popular or less popular. And this kind of brings that into it. We all deal with this, right? Whether it's at church or in our industry or our hobby, or with the ladies or the guys or whatever, there's some level of popularity that's always going on. And most of us probably remember this greatly from high school, but it still goes on as adults if we just all admit it. We can act like we don't care, but it's still there. It may just be a likability factor, and so it's really cool that this is put into the Pursuit of Happiness. Now, you're also going to get some additional cards that will be put into the game. Very, very cool aspects. I like that quite a bit. More variety, more things to do is really neat. Especially at the end of the game and kind of tell the story of your characters. You're going to like that quite a bit. I would go ahead and get Pursuit of Happiness Community. I think the base game was fine. I don't think you have to have this, but I do like the inclusion of this. I'd recommend picking this version up, this expansion, and just adding it in right away, having it all. It does give you the ability to play a 5th player, which is fine. I think the game is fine without a 5th player. It doesn't add a whole lot of time to it. So if you have a need for a 5th player, it's absolutely here. And you can totally include that. Small change to the solo game, which I'll get into when I review the solo version of the game. But for the community, I would say go ahead and pick it up and add it right in. Who should buy this game? If you really like the original, if you really like Pursuit of Happiness and you thought, man, I wish it had one more track, then boy, do I have the expansion for you. This is it. If you like the idea of that popularity being added to it, you can add this in. If you want to just a little bit more of that onion to get to something a little bit deeper, then you would add this in. But I think some of the cards are really neat. I think going forward that you're going to really like that you have this. So anybody who played Pursuit of Happiness and wants it, if you're the lightest of light gamers, you may not want to add this in. It's not a whole lot of complexity to it, but it's just one more thing to keep track of. So, take that with a grain of salt. But if you're a gamer and you're wanting to add complexity to this game, Community is probably where you want to start. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you liked it, please like it and hit that little subscribe button. That really helps out the channel, lets us know that you're getting the videos that you want. If you agreed or disagree with what I said, feel free to comment below. I'd love to hear what you have to say, and I promise that I will comment back. Thanks for watching, and everybody else, keep playing games.